RH3 Network.
Bring back that beat, DJ beat. It's just, man, I'm gonna start riding around in the car with that. When I get out at gas stations and shit, I'm just gonna get out all mean and shit at the gas station.
This is when you pull up to the gas station like Cedric said, let me get 5 on 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna get out with this bumping.
Oh, yeah.
Can't get enough of it. Can't get enough of it.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Fourcast, and you have the Fourcast here.
All right, welcome to another episode of the Fourcast. I am your host with the roast. Go ahead, man.
Sorry, man.
But thank you everybody for tuning in every Monday at this time, reviewing movies, films, documentaries a completely different way, 4 different perspectives. Coming at you at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern. Today, man, we got a good one for you tonight. It is called One of Them Days, named after named after the Monica song where she had them white sandals on. Looking all.
I don't know what they were.
I gotta get that photo.
I'm not so sure they were sandals.
I don't know what they were, but the way her feet was set up, it was not looking.
There was some.
That's comedy.
It was the first edition of them mids. Then with them K-Spade mids.
Oh, yeah.
Them Payless mids.
Yeah, before it was K-Spade.
Yeah.
All right, so One of Them Days, which is starring Keke Palmer and SZA, which I believe this is SZA's first acting role.
It is.
Hey, shout out to her. She did
good. And pretty convincing.
She did a good job.
I don't know.
All right, so
I don't know if this is a real call or is HRap trying to say something.
Oh no, I'm gonna be right back. I'm choking.
A couple of well-placed calls. That's all I know.
All right, so let's give us the rundown, Dawk.
Yes, sir. Oscar winner SZA makes her film debut opposite Keke Palmer in this raucous comedy about 2 LA roommates in a chaotic race to come up with rent money. When her boyfriend takes her rent money, Alyssa and her roommate race against the clock to avoid eviction and keep their friendship intact. Motion Picture Association rating of R. It was released in 2025 on January the 17th. It is called a buddy/tragicomedy. Well, that's a new one for me.
Yeah, that's the first time I heard that.
Tragicomedy.
It has a runtime of 1 hour and 37 minutes. Directed by Lawrence Lamont. It's produced, interestingly enough, by Issa Rae.
Oh yeah, her fingerprints is all over this, by the way.
Yes. Sarah D. Rustagi, Keke Palmer, Sharon Palmer. Is that her mama? Don't know. Poppy Hanks, James Lopez, Denise Davis, Charles D. King, Jeff Valeri. Screenplay by Sarita Singleton. Is there a connection? And she also wrote it, Sarita Singleton. Music by Shonda Dancy, which has to be noted here. You know, if you got SZA in the film, you better pay attention to your music. There's a big studio picture with TriStar and Hooray Media. Again, as we discussed before the show, it has a budget of $14 million, and we'll get into the cast a little bit later.
Yeah. So, man, as we get into some initial thoughts, I thought this was gonna be like a Baps. If y'all remember that film with and I was already doubting it, and I was completely wrong about this film.
That was with Halle Berry, right?
Right, Halle Berry and that co-star. I think she passed away. I don't remember what.
Moment of silence. Paul and
you meant an exact moment.
Yeah.
as for you, Wilks.
I appreciate it.
I don't know if anybody understands that more than you. Anytime there's a moment of silence.
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna go to Paul next. I'm gonna take his phone call.
Always.
But yeah, I was completely wrong. I think the casting was well. Issa Rae, her fingerprints was all over it. When I said that, if anybody's seen Insecure, you think of the music, you think of the scenes. It was LA based, and it was well done. I'm gonna leave it at that as we continue to talk through it. Has some cameos in it too, which we'll be talking about that as well. Yeah. Wilks, man, I'm gonna go to you. Initial thoughts.
No, when I saw the trailer, I mean, I was already kind of hooked through the trailer because it, especially with Issa Rae's fingerprints on it, you know, it was just like I was getting the Course Friday vibes and the Wash vibes and things like that. You know, those comedies that I say we don't see too many comedies like this, but they're probably out there and I'm just missing them. They could be independent studio produced, you know, I don't know, but no, I enjoyed it. I'm glad it turned out the way I thought it was. I didn't think about Baps at all. That didn't really come to mind. But yeah, no, I think I like the slapstick comedy that was in there and the kind of over the top. Is like, okay, this is ridiculous, but man, it's hilarious. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I'll probably rewatch it again because unfortunately I didn't watch it last night. I watched it I started it and I think I got like 30 minutes in and then I watched it today at lunch and then finished it. And I was just like, I feel like I need to rewatch it just to give it more attention, not kind of rush through it or whatever. But from what I did watch and finish, no, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. I was getting Debo vibes from the girl though, driving around. And where's my money? You know, where's my money? Where they at? You know, that kind of thing.
What you got on my 40, homie?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take mine in this time. that knot on your that black eye say you don't need to tuck that in. Anyway, HRap.
I loved it. It will be a female version of Friday. That's what I said. I was like, this is the new age version of Friday for women. Everything, it was Friday from a woman's perspective. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. All right, Doc.
I'm not gonna give it quite that high praise. You know, Friday is a, you know, one of a kind, epic, you know, culture builder, culture stamper. So I'm not gonna rise that high. It was entertaining, it was good, but I think it falls short of a Friday.
Okay. Let's get to some comments here. April Showers, thank you for tuning in.
There you go, Theodore. I'm with you.
That was some funny shit. Said, what's up, Chief? I ain't seen Chief in a minute. What's going on, Chief? Good to see you. Said my brothers. Theodore with the laugh. Thank you for tuning in. Change the photo. It looks like you got Queenie in there. That's a Crooklyn reference. Anyway. Great show to me. Blue Streak said it was worth $5 Tuesday. Yeah. It was good. It wasn't what I thought. So I was pleasantly surprised. So I think I'm giving it a little bit more of a higher praise because I thought it was just going to be average or below average. All right. So Issa Rae, as we kind of already touched on this, she is, I'm not going to say everything that she does is similar, but she has a similar type of feel in what she produces or is involved in. And this had that stamp. It seemed like that was the Insecure apartment. Or that was at least close to look like some of it. So seeing that she was involved in it, that definitely gave me a little bit more of a, okay, this should be interesting. All right, so Keyshawn, like how many Keyshawns have been in a movie with either a different name, but the same type of dude? So you know, when you see Keyshawn coming on the screen, on the screen, give me your thoughts on that, Doc.
Again, same. You know, you've seen it, 1,000 times, and you pretty much know what that character is gonna be. Pretty close to it. Yeah. And kind of, this was like a 24-hour
like film, which I felt like that was perfect. I liked how they had the clock. Okay, this is the countdown to when we're gonna get evicted, and then this was a countdown until we die, which was also comical.
Yeah, a day in the life.
Day in the life. Yeah. HRap, talk about that. Those kind of day in the life films, and how it just kind of gives you a glimpse of what the person or persons are going through.
Yeah, I mean, that's why a company, I compared it to Friday. Remember, the story of Friday, part of the story of Friday was they had to get Big Worm's money. They had to get to pay the rent. It was the same kind of situation. To me, it was just from a girl's perspective. They had a woman chasing them on the Debo side of the game. This was a very good buddy comedy from a young black girl perspective, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah. I definitely get the analogy. I just don't see that there was anybody as strong as a Chris Tucker. Okay, Cat Williams was supposed to be your my neck and my back guy, baby. And like I said, I just think it fell a little short. I understand the analogy, I understand the attempt. It just doesn't. It's hard to match a Chris Tucker in his, in his heyday, in his prime before he got saved.
Yeah. And Keke Palmer, let's give a round of applause to Keke Palmer. She wasn't Keke Palmer. She was
that's exactly right.
Somebody else, which was great.
Well, see, and this is where I'm going to give SZA some credit, because I believe SZA brought. Matter of fact, this is my exact note on it. I said, SZA has a future in film, very natural. I personally think her realism helped Keke Palmer. I think because she is just a natural at this, raised the level of Keke Palmer's performance. I think Keke played off of her quite a bit to become better than what we usually see Keke Palmer as.
And I think she didn't have to be. I just think there's a former like child actor. You have this type of like, I got to put this on and I got to be this, and it was just it was a back and forth.
Yeah,
like you said, it just flowed perfectly. HRap, you gonna say something?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, all right. The white girl at the check cash spot was funny as hell. Yeah,
Agreed.
And she's been in a few other things that I've watched on Netflix, even at that. But the car, which looked like I was a Ford Escort. I mean, I might have been the first, make and model of that Ford Escort. It looked like she was working at a Waffle House or something similar to it, or some type of diner, or something like that. And the minute she pulls up and, she's sitting outside and she's like, man, I'm sorry I'm late. And, they cracking jokes and all that. It was natural. It wasn't like they were trying to force it. Yeah. And I think that's what made it good I thought it was going to be forced. This is SZA's like first role, at least that we know of. But I felt like she killed it. I mean, I feel like she couldn't have done any better, any worse. I think she did her thing in it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the conviction part, you got that type of apartment, and you got the landlord, and he already put somebody else's stuff out, like all this stuff that's sitting on the curb. I mean, that was I think that guy played that character well, but they pull up to the payday whenever, and then they had the commercial playing. And I don't know if y'all peeped that in the background. It was like, yeah, we will, if you don't pay or do pay, we will find it. We will get it one way or another.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've at least where I grew up in California, we had it was a Johnny's. I think it was a Johnny's check cashing place. Now they didn't have no commercials like that, but this is kind of like a payday loan type spot. But so Cat Williams, the Cat Williams cameo, Wilks. Talk about that. How great was that?
Yeah, that's what kind of surprised me from the trailer. I wasn't expecting to see him or anybody get big. I was just thinking, okay, it's going to be a few maybe unknowns. You got the two stars or whatever, but then I see him and I'm like, okay, all right. But yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, his little. Of course, I'm taking back to Atlanta when he alligator man.
Alligator man.
But yeah, I mean, he was just doing that thing, and it was just like, man, this is hilarious. Like it was just the random one-offs and just some of those one-liners and those interactions. And I thought it was something different. I thought it was really kind of nice that you just kind of had him, like, you didn't have him completely in the movie. You just kind of dropped him here and there,
right.
you know. And I thought that was pretty nice. And we've seen comedies like that before, where, you know, it might be John Witherspoon. He's not in the entire movie, but you'll drop him here and there, or he'll pop up here. So, yeah, I thought that was real. I like that touch. I thought it was real nice. I was very surprised to see him in the trailer because I wasn't expecting any other known or big name actors. But yeah, no, I thought it was pretty nice. It was pretty nice.
And honestly, I was thinking, like, man, you need that person at every payday loan spot before you go in the door, ladies.
Right?
Don't do it.
Right?
Like it's a what he said. It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, they just keep going. Keep going.
So, man, talk about Cat Williams, Dawk. I know you and HRap are the comedian heads and everything.
Yeah, this was a toned down cat. You know, I think he had mentioned that he had got 19 loans from him or something like that. And the interest rate, I don't know if y'all paid attention to the interest rate on there, was 1,019% or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought Cat was a good idea. You know, I actually had a daughter who went and saw this film about a month ago, maybe even a little longer. And was interested, you know, and when they came home, her and her friend, you know, talking about it, you know, and of course SZA got rave reviews, but they were saying the same thing about Cat Williams. Like they were like, he wasn't Cat Williams enough for us, you know. So he was just a toned down cat, you know. You know, I don't know if in his mind, you know, he was like he didn't want to hijack the film, or if that was the direction he got, you know. But it was fine. I think it was a good placement. It was smart. It was funny, you know, to have him in a situation like that, because we all are thinking the same thing when somebody walks in a place like that, you know, being, you know, our history with check cashing places and the vigilante effort that was put into place to try to ward against them, which you know went absolutely nowhere, and they still charging 18+%, you know.
Right.
So yeah, that payday loan place, 24-hour check cashing or whatever.
Right.
It ain't your friend.
Right. Exactly. They are not out for your benefit.
Yeah, they are just under the loan sharking law.
Right. Right, exactly.
Just under the loan sharking law.
Right. And HRap, when they come in there, you know, they're sitting down and she's like, yeah, you have a job. And he's like, well, I'm an artist. Well, you got a pay stub, you got a what do you have anything? And then they pull up the credit score and she just dying laughing.
Yeah.
She just really just making them even feel worse than what they are. But I felt like that was a funny scene. And was it slap your knee funny? Was it, you know, laughing out loud, hilarious funny? No, it wasn't. But it was a good laugh. It was a good laugh. But talk about that scene with the lady at the check cashing place.
I really appreciated that because, you know, this is played on the back, you know, the hood, bad credit, you in a pinch type of deal. And instead of being extremely professional, what they did was take it over the top with more colloquialisms and put them in a worse situation. I mean, it was one of those things that made you really enjoy the movie you saw, what type of production it was. So I really enjoyed. I enjoyed this movie from beginning to end.
Yeah. So you know they didn't have their rent money because SZA's character gave it to Keyshawn, and Keyshawn was supposed to take it to the landlord. Obviously, you knew that wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
And so this Negro's whole get up and situation, and then later on we find out that he was about to start a clothing line, but it was a Gucci shirt. So I'm like, what clothing line you about to start on a Gucci shirt? You just like that don't make no sense. Yeah, Keisha, the memories. Every time I drive on 35, I just keep driving. So they're basically short $1,500. So they're trying to, you know, get rich quick schemes, trying to figure out what they need to do, how to get the money. And the next idea is the blood bank.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that scene was funny too. Shout out to Janelle James, who's also the principal on Abbott Elementary. If anybody's seen that, stand-up comedian too. You know, this I feel like this was these little spots where you had people in that we didn't know was in it was like a whoa, okay, that's and that kind of goes even with the budget. Like we was talking about Monica not having that song in it. Lil Rel was in it too. I mean, like to finagle the budget how they did. Maybe it was you got some connections and can you come on this film with us? But those were like perfect fine touches. I think that kind of took this film over the average. You agree or disagree, Dawk?
Yeah. Again, I can't say isn't Lil Rel one of Chicago's finest, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's not one of my favorite guys, in the comedy game. I don't know if y'all have seen his follow-up interview after Cat Williams on Shannon Sharp's show. If not, you probably want to go check it out. But not saying he's unfunny, but he's just he's not somebody I'm gonna go. There are certain comedians that I would literally go out of town to see. I would plan a trip to a whole nother state just to go see them. He does not make that list. If he were in Dallas, I would consider it.
He to me, he's more movie funny than he is stand-up funny.
Yeah.
Some people can just movies. I
didn't watch his comedy show, 30-minute comedy show. I got the impression that it was just, slapstickish, But considering that he was there, let's go ahead and get into the cast a little bit. As you well know, Keke Palmer, SZA, Patrick Cage II, which played Maniac, which I'm sure we'll get into a little later. The white girl in the apartment was played by Maud Apatow.
That name sounded awfully familiar, but I didn't look up.
It sounds familiar because her father is director, producer, and screenwriter Judd Apatow. In addition, her mother is famous actress. And let's go to these media assets. So I
kept looking at that name. I was like, man, I know this.
Her mom is famous actress Leslie Mann of Cable Guy, The 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, Funny People, and This Is Fun. This is Funny. And that is her and Judd Apatow. And that's her by herself. So you recognize her face. So that's her mom and dad. I thought it was ironic that we just talked about nepotism last week. Also, you have in here Amin Joseph, who is the guy who played King Lolo. We've seen him in something else too.
It looks familiar, but I couldn't play. I didn't look him up.
Snowfall is what he is. Oh, that's right. That's right. He played the uncle. He had the Jerry curl. That's right. Vanessa Bell Calloway, which we all know she played Mama Ruth. Janelle James played Ruby. She was the lady at the was she at the fast food restaurant?
The Blood Bank.
The Blood Bank, there you go.
Yeah.
Cat Williams as Lucky, and again, Lil Rel Howery as the buyer of the Jordans.
Yeah. Now, did y'all see who was the comedian? It's a pop quiz. Who was the comedian that was at the churches?
Oh, Tony Baker.
Tony Baker.
I didn't see that.
Tony Baker was at the drive-thru.
His voice right away. I was like,
Now, did y'all hear Big Boy on the radio at the beginning of the show?
As the DJ?
That was nice.
Yeah.
Doing a payday whenever ad spot.
That's what he was doing.
But
and then what's his name? Banks. He was on the Shade. What's his name? Desi Banks. Yeah.
He was
in there too.
I was like, man. I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah, he was like, I don't know about y'all, but I'm going to get the hell up out of here.
Yeah.
Which, and this is they had some of the new era of comedy. They doing 1 minute videos, and that's how they blew up. That's Desi Banks and that's Tony Baker.
Well, that's kind of like that show we I can't remember it now, but how they I can't remember it, but it was on Amazon. And it was talking about it was like the Laugh Factory or the Laugh Factory, but
the one with
he was talking about how it's moved to social media now. There was a time where you come up here and audition, and it might be on a Tuesday, but now, like he said, it's on social media. You're making 2-minute reels, or hell, some people now they have like I've seen what's his name? Oh God, to the max. That dude, he's got something on Tubi. He took his stuff, and now it's like seasons. Like he's got episodes, so it's like they're just popping up in different ways now. But of course, everything's still going to be legendary through the stage, in the stand up in front of people. But yeah, that social media comedy and that breakthrough, man, it's going crazy because they're editing, producing.
Yeah,
I mean, they're doing it all.
Hey, Kev on stage was like that too. Now he had a whole hospital series. I think he put it on his like Patreon. But I mean, like, if you funny, you funny. If you can get your stuff out to the masses, if it's on social media, if it's on YouTube, if it's stand up, if you're funny, you're funny. It'll get to the people. And I think that it was a nice thing to see Tony Baker at the drive-thru.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Tony Baker and Kev are actual comedians, though. Tony Baker, Kev, Rail, they're actual comedians.
Yeah. Desi Banks, I think he might have done. He might be doing stand up or kind of getting into stand up. Yeah. All right, so they're at the blood bank. She's Drew is giving blood, and she's like, "Man, I want to. Should I do it again?" Or she's like, "I'm gonna do it again so I can get more money." She's like, "Yeah, go ahead." She looked dead in there. After she realized,
vampire.
Like, I'm giving too much blood. And then the blood starts squirting everywhere. That was kind of like a. That was like a goofy, like over the top.
Yeah.
Kind of like an SNL.
Right.
Thing. Yeah. But it was cool. So then, at an ambulance. So let me see, where was that? So after they left the blood bank, that's when they met Maniac, right? Is that when he came and picked them up?
No, that was before. They were at the churches.
That's when they met Maniac. Maniac pulled up in the churches.
Yeah.
Oh, right, because they got the coupons for the biscuit.
Yeah, it was after the blood bank.
Yeah.
And so, and Maniac was in the actual beginning, so we can rewind back. He was at Mama Ruth's house, and he was like, "You ain't honey buns."
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that was the candy lady, right?
Yeah.
Oh, was that her mama? Was that?
No, she probably just
what they call it.
Mama.
Neighborhood.
Yeah. Candy lady. That's the candy lady. It's just like in the traditional hood. It was always a candy house.
Yeah, my mama has been the candy lady before.
Yeah, it's always that one lady, and everybody love her, and everybody rock with her.
Yeah, we had a lady get her house remodeled. She was selling so much candy and chips and Snickers and pickles and all that. I was like, man, Miss Dixon up here living big off us, man.
Yeah, she got that money in the
man,
meat locker in the closet.
Yeah, she got the house remodeled. I was like, man, she's stacking it in
there. And she had a whole mini fridge in there.
It was crazy.
That was the spot. Crazy.
Yeah, but when she walked in, I was like, is this her apartment or is this a store? I was like, what?
Yeah, that's what you made it seem like it was both.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Denise in the building? Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. All right, so again, they're still trying to figure out how they can come up with the money. Drew has an interview, which that we'll get to that in a minute at like 4:00. So they still trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
So basically, we're talking about One of Them Days. It's on Netflix, and we're kind of just going through it, reviewing it, talking about if you have seen it, kind of at the point where they were at the blood bank and they're kind of figuring out how they're going to get the money. But it's on Netflix. I would highly suggest you watch it, and it's definitely one of those that it's a good Sunday sit down comedy. It's, something you can sit down and watch over the weekend. All right, so throughout all of this, Keyshawn being who he was, end up meeting this other girl. What was her name? Could have been like Bernice.
Big Booty Bernice.
Big Booty Bernice, which is that was a funny nickname. Yeah, and she coming on the scene, and she already like hella aggressive, like trying to get Keyshawn. Obviously, Keyshawn messing with her, and they end up going over to her apartment, which was caveat to Friday when they were breaking into the Devo's apartment trying to get the money and all that. So they took some blueprints from Friday, which it's a classic film. So
and why not?
I don't think that was wrong. I think that was
that's why I said. I mean, definitely never trying to, put it side by side. But I just think they've taken the notes and they're just kind of picking from the things that the things that have come before, and you've studied that. So, but no, I was like, man, this is, and like HRap said, this is kind of like the female perspective of Friday.
And they end up getting Bernice and end up having to run away from her because they embarrassed her because she ended up running into the truck.
Oh my gosh, he hit that truck, man.
Hit that truck hard. Like if the glass breaks after you hitting the door.
That's why I said I love that random slapstick comedy. It wasn't always there, but just to kind of see that physical comedy here and there, it's just like I said, they just put enough in where it wasn't like, okay, how many times you gonna fall down the stairs? Like how many times you gonna trip over the couch? But it was just kind of okay. We'll sprinkle it out, but
and it was different situations. They all weren't similar. It wasn't like Bernice was chasing them the whole entire film.
Yeah,
she had her point in the film, and they had to go to being getting the Jordans and end up trying to sell those, which was somebody else's Jordan. So it had different levels to the film, which I think also made it.
And I don't know why King Lolo wanted they had creases in the Jordan. I've seen them. I was like, creases in the Jordan. Man, nobody want them. Man.
Why are your Jordans hanging on the
right?
Like normally those are the shoes that you're not gonna wear ever.
Yeah, you're not gonna wear. You toss them. Try to toss them anyway.
Yeah, and he just knew. Yeah, he just knew their number and all that.
Right.
Yeah, but
honestly, I thought it was going to be Cat Williams, but I was like, no, because they wasn't showing it. But I was like, it was going to be in Cat Williams. It was a double kind of, but I don't know, man. But,
but it's hood. That's the thing. It's my hood. Everything in this hood is mine. Remember, he killed the dude because he looked at him.
Yeah.
He killed the dude. He didn't do it. If he's looking at him crazy, he's like, no, he just looked at him.
Looked at him. Yeah.
So it's whatever in this hood is mine. That's why I really enjoyed this, because it was like there's a lot of I think somebody said it last week. A lot of Easter eggs. It's a lot of like Nina Simone says, if you are artists, you need to be given a message in your art. And they did this. They showed. I think they were showing young ladies how even your best friend, you can go at them hard. Y'all can fall all the way out. But when the chips is down, you're supposed to go help your girl. And they did that. And, even at your height, sometimes you're going to have to just put your faith in something, like when she was at the interview. She lost that job. You know what I'm saying? But it was about, it's like, I want to let my friend get beat up.
Well, she at first she was like, I don't know them. I don't know them at all.
I don't know their name.
Drew!
And then she kept calling her name.
At that point.
Yeah. And then the little sneaky joke about the name. And she was like, yeah, no, that ain't my name. She was like, Drex. She's like, no, Dre. And there's so many little things, and the sprinkling of the celebrities.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was cool. And I didn't think it was for me, but I think it was for my daughter and their age. So I could appreciate it. It's like, this ain't for me, but
yeah. And this might be for people that faintly know Friday, but they don't have the reference and the this is what happened in this. They can compare. But I agree with you, HRap. I think this is for that generation.
Oh, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
But I think we definitely gotta review it and give our thoughts.
And HRap, to that point, it may land like a Friday for them. You follow what I'm saying? Even though it didn't land like a Friday for me, it may land like a Friday for them. Even though that's not the reaction I got from a couple of 16-year-olds. It was just lukewarm for them. SZA was the drawing point. Right. So you know, there's been a couple of female artists that have gone into movies, right, and want to go there. And I don't think they're utilizing them enough. Number one, I think their talent has spoken for themselves every time they've been in this situation that I'm aware of. And I think they need to go to that well a little bit more often. Me and Wilks were talking and being before the show. Like, I didn't know SZA was as thick as a snicker. I did not know that. One of the reasons why is because music isn't done the same way it used to. We used to have album covers and pictures and CD covers and pictures and stuff like that. And you may think, well, you can go online and find it anywhere. Well, I didn't have to go anywhere. It was right where the music was.
And then fold it out.
That's right. It was right there as I'm putting it on. So, we don't consume it the same way we used to before. Right. So, I've listened to a ton of her music. She has plenty on my playlist, but I had no idea what she looked like. She could have passed me in Walmart and I would have known who she looked like or who she was,
Yeah.
So I think they need to go to that well more often, to those female or even some young male artists or whatever who want to be in movies. Like, remember A$AP Rocky in that Black Cowboy movie we saw that, he did a fantastic job in that movie. So give them some more, opportunities,
Yeah. And there's a couple of Luke James. He's a singer, but he's been in a ton of different films.
Really badass.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah. They were both in the Wu-Tang.
An older one, Method Man, and on the show that he's on, I can't remember the name of the show now. Power. Is it Power? Yeah. Method Man did a fantastic job in that role, man. He acted his butt off. I'm very impressed with him, so.
And he even did a film with Adam Sandler. I think it was called The Cobbler or something. It was like a random film where he was
Cobbler.
Method Man is definitely up
Black
there.
folks don't know nothing, but we know Peach Cobbler. We don't know no shoe cobbler.
We don't know no shoe cobblers, man.
You're right.
Adam Sandler is. He said Adam Sandler is white Tyler Perry.
Who said that?
Who said that?
Big Illinois.
Wow.
And you're right. It's a lot of rappers and actors.
Get to the next comment. Coco Jones on. I've seen her on the new Bel Air. Yeah. And if you have not seen that, man, I don't know who's doing the producing, who's doing the directing, who's doing the writing, but the reimagining of the Fresh Prince of Bel Air on Peacock, man, is spectacular. And Coco Jones, the new Hillary, absolutely kills it, man.
And I was telling Ben, I was like, man, can you imagine a different world like this, or Cosby Show, Bel Air, like?
Yeah, that's right, man.
It would be in
a different world. You can definitely do it. Yeah.
You walk away from this new Bel Air wanting to be Jeffrey. Jeffrey's role is so cool. It's so dope, man.
Yeah, Jeffrey Cole, man.
Yeah.
Double-breasted suits out here, man. Slow down, Jeff.
Yeah, the storylines, you can tell there is no box that holds that show in, man. They are operating outside the box, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad I caught up.
We were talking about this today, me and Wilks, is SZA, her next role should be Shaka Khan. If you pull them up,
she needs to come out with a line of scissors. The scissor. I don't care nothing about being laughing. I don't care nothing about Mayhem laughing. If I get a real authentic, unexpected laugh out of HRap, shit, I'm winning.
Man. Yeah, there were angles in the movie where it's just like, man, she looks like a young Shaka Khan.
That's right. I give you that.
Like, dang, it was just like at certain angles, and it was just like, wow, like she could, if they did something about Shaka, that would be crazy.
Yeah, the only thing I know Kendrick Lamar, he was in, wasn't he in Power? He was playing like a crazy dude where like half his hair was braided and half of it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got so many of them. I didn't watch.
Again, I couldn't have picked Kendrick Lamar out of a police lineup before seeing him at the Super Bowl this year and doing that interview. I really could not have, man.
What's up, Poetic? Thank you for tuning in.
Could have identified his ass. That truck that just hit your ass. I couldn't have.
Yeah, high speed.
Hey, Jake.
Hey, Jake.
Of Train Naturals, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you.
Give me my props right here that Miss Sonia to you trying to give to me. Shit on my scissor. She know what's up.
She said Kendrick has had several other roles too. All right, cool. I haven't seen it.
I mean, Tiana Taylor. It's been a bunch of artists.
Yeah, Tiana Taylor was the one. She played in the new Coming to America, right? Wasn't that what she was in?
Yeah. And she was in a film. It was called, I think, 1,000 Days or 1,000 Years or something, where she played like a single mom. Yeah, that was probably one of her best roles.
Didn't we watch her in something else where it was her and her? So they was trying to make a way, or her mom.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, that was like 1,000 something, 1,001s or something like that.
I felt like she was in another movie, like a military.
Hey, it's been some days, nigga. I done had 1,001s. You ain't lying about that.
Yeah.
I wasn't in that movie.
Oh, I'm sure. Point roll.
Yeah, that was young Ivan. That was young King Doc. That was Prince Doc. Shit. And I went so hard, HRap was asleep on the way home. I still had a photo evidence to prove it.
Yeah, you got two out of the three.
He was Danny Glover that night. I'm too old for this shit.
Hey man, if I sit still too long, I'm going to sleep.
He'll probably try to get home to them barbecue leftovers.
Smokey Jones had me, Jack.
Yeah. Shout out. Speaking of memories, Keisha and Ben, shout out to Smokey Johns and the family over there. Yeah, Brent Reeves and the brothers over there, man. Shout out to y'all. Y'all doing big things.
Yeah,
Smokey Johns.
They are in HEB now, I believe, with their sauce.
Yeah, HEB Smart. What's it called?
Mama, we made it.
So that place we went to, HRap, their sauce now is in HEB and a couple other chains around there and stuff like that.
You're in HEB, man. You doing it?
Back in the day, 80% of I'm saying the recent day, 80% of the turkey legs out of the state fair were produced and sold by Smokey John. So if you're in Dallas and you ain't been to Smokey John, and I'm telling you, it's a barbecue spot, but they catfish, I get that half the time I go.
You know what? I didn't try the catfish yet.
Half the time I go.
I got to try the catfish. I didn't try the catfish.
Well, good barbecue.
Yeah. HRap was a little thrown off that we had Sergeant Hot Dog. What's Sergeant's name?
Wilkins.
Sergeant Wilkins in there, which is a police officer, and I'm talking about packing pistols in there out loud in front of the whole restaurant.
Hey, man, he was one of the coolest dudes, man. And I think
we sandwiched in between this white dude.
Yeah.
You think I should have bought my gun? And I was like, yeah, you couldn't say that in Chicago.
Yeah, and the white dude didn't flinch, did he? He didn't mean nothing to me. I should have brought my pistol with me. The white dude just still looking at the menu. Hey, I think I'm going to get some of them smoked sausage. He wasn't worried about nothing.
What would be in this joint by now? Say that shit in Chicago.
Hey, and real quick, man, that Men's Fellowship, because all of that tension between cops and our young men, those were perfect moments.
Look at that.
Where there was multiple cops. They seen them, they knew them, and that really kind of helped with that.
Yeah, you got to see them as real people,
Right, exactly.
Got to see them
with their guns on them. They just getting off of work.
Yeah, and I made sure they real people because I was clowning on them just as much as I would anybody else.
Right. Yeah, it didn't matter who you were.
Was fitting so tight, man. Y'all ain't got how many uniforms they let y'all wear a week? Yeah, that was fitting tight on you, man. Go up a size. We'll take a love offering for you. Yeah.
That's some clear defense pants.
Hey, we'll take some of that benevolence offering for you.
That's right.
Yeah. Tiana Taylor was in Medea's family reunion. I don't remember. I don't even know if
I didn't watch that. I did not watch it. That's why I didn't.
Ryan, what film was that? Was that called Lottery Ticket? It was something with her and Bow Wow. That role was annoying.
Who Bow Wow?
Tiana Taylor and Bow Wow was in a film together, but she was
got me
annoying.
Medea's same thing.
Either way,
it's all the same thing.
It don't matter.
It's the same universe.
Medea goes to jail. You could have said that. It wouldn't have mattered.
I would have believed you. Oh man.
All right, so they end up getting the money for the rent. They sell the Jordans, and then everything. You think everything is all good. Obviously, in my head, I'm like, all right, in this type of film, something about to go wrong.
Right.
And obviously, she ended up taking a picture with the dude at the taco stand, at the fruit stand, and Bernice ended up finding out where she was at. Man, and this, other than Friday, they didn't get no licks in. Debo didn't. Bernice didn't fall at all.
Right.
She single-handedly whooped both of their behinds, and it was no coming back. And she took the money.
Right. So that was the money they came up on.
That was the money that they needed to pay the rent.
Like, dang.
And obviously that didn't go well. She in there on a job interview with that random clothes that she got out of
gosh.
Right. Out of the bin at the blood bank. I mean, like that was funny. Those are those little things that you add in that I think you just got to have a attention to detail to add some of these little sprinkles in there. Did he say Debo? She was Debo in this film.
Hey, she was the female Debo in there, man.
Yeah. She was handling everybody. It wasn't no messing with Big Booty Bernice. So you got to watch it for that. But she goes in for the interview, man, kills it. Does one hell of a job. And then her damn friend outside,
getting manhandled,
calling her name, and she's like, I don't know them. It was like, well, they calling you. Then that face that we got to make, like, damn, I got to go out and help. I was just about to come up with
right.
that super outfit she had on too. Hey, was she flipped that real with that coat? Because I was like, ain't no way she could walk in there like that, and ain't I can think.
Yeah, I was like,
she did it pretty well. It did have some ratchetness to it. It did.
Oh yes,
but it didn't go completely ratchet. It wasn't like one of those you had to turn it off or you got to fast forward to get to the next scene. They kept it moving, which I feel like was another good, a good aspect to it. But talk about HRap. When you get to the them just keeping the film going, it was an hour and 30 minutes, like Dawk said at the beginning. It wasn't like it wasn't too fast, and it wasn't trying to drag things out, but it moved perfectly, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was saying I believe that they were throwing a lot of little messages in there. Of course they were gonna have a falling out at some point because they were going, they were living two different lives. But I like the way that they were supporting each other and not supporting each other. We done, but you knew they wasn't done. It was a perfect ebb and flow to this movie, and like all the little hood stuff, the negotiating with Lil Rel, the Tony Baker, the dude that everybody know at the fast food joint.
Snatching the food,
yeah. It was just so many little things and little nuances and nooks and crannies from the hood that you see.
Right.
You see opposites attract, then they uplifting each other. It was just a great mixture.
And also Lawrence, his directing style, he did I don't know if anybody has watched Rap Shit. That's another one by Issa Rae.
Yeah.
But he directed, I think, season 1 and 2. So his style is like also all over this. And I think that's why you have those Insecure, those notes from Friday, The Wash, those comedies like that. Maybe even Are We There Yet kind of thing, those comedies, because you just have those small pockets of, and it's just like, man, you can, the blueprint is there, but of course he wrote his own path. But
yeah. And then we last week we had a conversation on kind of the length of films. Dawk, this being an hour and 30 minutes, you feel like that was good timing?
Yeah, I think it was perfect considering what it was. In fact, that my mama used to always tell me, leave them wanting more. And even though it wasn't the greatest movies that I've seen, it still leaves you wanting more.
Yeah.
They called it a what was the word we used? A tragic comedy, but it was still a feel good movie to a certain extent, right? Things had happy endings and stuff like that, no pun intended. So yeah, I think the runtime was perfect on it.
Yeah.
I think the runtime was perfect, I did those films. I'm interested in what the cutting room floor was like. Like what didn't they, what didn't make it. And sometimes I like to go over that kind of stuff and see if they made mistakes. Yeah. Should have left that one in. That was funnier than this. One of the funniest things is when the steamer machine shot his ass back in that fast food restaurant. That was a laugh out loud for me. I thought that was pretty funny.
Oh god!
So they had a couple of laugh out loud moments. But like when she got electrocuted and shot her, I thought that was a little slapstickish and a little overboard from that standpoint. But I get what they were trying to do.
Climbing that pole, which was perfect because today.
And you knew what was gonna happen. Shit, you talk about drawing it out. They drew that out. It's like we knew it was about to happen.
Right. Yeah. You know what's coming next. You keep messing
do
around.
Something different with that. Like we've seen that in cartoons. We've seen that in. Okay, let's go with the scene, but let's make the ending something different. Instead of it shooting her out, she gets stuck to the pole and slides down. Something different, whatever that may be. She shits her drawer, something like that.
And funny today at actual work, the power went out, and the first thing that came to mind was somebody off of Harry Hines was to climb the pole and got electrocuted.
Oh wow!
I don't know if that happened or not, but
true story. We'll see it. Fox 4.
Hey, the legend of Harry Hines. They need a documentary on that. Man.
Yeah. They got one. It's called Another Street in Another Major City, but the documentary is the same. The story is the same. The characters are the same.
Right.
So like we kind of talked about, anything Issa Rae is serious about music, and there was a lot of West Coast music. It did have some classics in it. We kind of go around the horn. Was there one particular song that stuck out to any of y'all?
Not to me. We know it's not the HRap because he probably didn't even realize there was in the movie.
I know. But I went to him anyway.
That one song, I can't think of it now, but that one song, it was an older song. I knew it was like it was from obviously the 70s possibly, but I couldn't.
I Believe in Miracles.
Yeah, that's I've heard that something. I heard that somewhere else. So that song really caught my attention because I was like, man, I just heard this like on another movie or in something that I was watching.
Yeah, that when I heard that song, and I think that was when they were at they did the art party.
They were doing the art thing, yeah.
And that song, that was like a class. I had to look it up, and it was by the Jackson sisters. No, not that Jackson.
Right.
But it was like a gospel group. Yeah. It was a gospel group, but that was probably really the only song that stood out. It was a lot of West Coast music. Which is
I figured that was going to happen because, like I said, even with Insecure, I mean, there were a lot of songs that an artist that I found through Insecure because I had never heard these people and never listened to them. So that was definitely, that element was there again. So
I didn't. I was hoping the soundtrack would catch my attention more often through the film, but that's back to HRap's point. Maybe some of the younger generation did recognize a lot more of the soundtrack than I did,
Right.
Yep. Somebody's house on fire. Yeah, their apartment was on fire because
I think that's a song, I believe.
Is that the song?
I think that's a song that she's referring to.
Oh, okay. I thought she was.
I would imagine. Unless, I would imagine. Since she typed it right when we were talking about music and the soundtrack.
Yeah. But Keyshawn trying to be nice with all the candles end up falling over, and that was kind of I didn't know if that was gonna happen or if something else, but you figured that something was about to happen.
She said, "All my good candles."
All my good candles. Yeah, that sounds like a black mama
folks
term.
will keep some candles without lighting them motherfuckers. Hey, they ain't fun. They ain't to be lit.
Yeah, and then when they light all the damn dust, I'm like, you gonna light the dust?
They on the table for decoration, or they're in a closet somewhere that will never ever get used.
Yeah, right on.
And then when you die and your kids cleaning out that closet, it's all them candles that you get.
Yeah, because they got that one. They got them two boring red and green candles that don't smell like anything. It's just Christmas candles.
Yeah.
Right.
What the hell you do with this candle? It's just big ass red candle. If it don't smell like it, is it a scent?
You gotta light it.
It's not a scent because they came back from the 80s shit. Back then, candles wasn't about scent; they was about light, man.
Exactly.
The light and the power went out.
Light the mood. You know. Yeah.
So Key Lolo's character, when he came in the room and he was like, nobody mess with Key Lolo. That was kind of like I'm gonna get you sucker type.
Well, I thought I thought he was gonna go where Denzel Washington did on Training Day. That's where I thought he was gonna go in.
Yeah. Nah, he just that to me that was more. I didn't take him as an actual threat. I felt like it was more him. That was a comedy portion of it because I didn't think he wanted to actually go kill him. He was about to, but
I don't know.
He seemed his character was more funny than it was like.
I'd have took him out.
Menacing. I don't know if you got that.
I wonder who that he had hanging out.
What'd
you say?
He missed her by that much.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a thing.
He was a promise.
Yeah.
I remember then they said the dude shot somebody for looking at him.
Yeah.
You know what
they said not looking at him the wrong way, just looking at
him. He had somebody hanging over the edge of the building.
I thought that was Lil Rel. Because maybe he found
Lil too. I said the same thing.
It probably was.
He found him. He found the dude that had his Jordans.
You know, he seen when the old people in the neighborhood was like, "Oh, there you go, I'm out."
Yeah.
They backed up all that stuff. Like, let me get out of here.
That was from a movie too, where like they seen probably was Friday again. When everybody seen Debo coming, it was like, all right, when you tuck my hand, I'm gonna put lines underneath the crate.
That's why those little, and that's why I say that, you know, it's just those little small notes I think they're taking and kind of doing their thing with. But it was kind of cool. I was like,
there was some flat out ripoffs.
Yeah.
I would love to hear Ice Cube's take on this film and how you felt about it. That would be
I wouldn't be surprised if they went to him for his blessing.
Yeah, they both right.
Quite possibly.
Yeah. You I mean, you might have to some of the stuff, the intellectual.
I've heard some behind the scenes industry stuff on Issa Rae that maybe she didn't.
No,
well, go ahead and talk about it.
You should do a thing.
No, thank you.
She do what she do.
I don't want the forecast to be an Issa Rae production from now on. Shit, so I'm just not gonna say it.
And side note, if I seen the preview for Black Mirror, and she's on that.
Okay, she's done an episode of it because Black Mirror is a bunch of standalone episodes. It's the modern day Twilight Zone. It's basically what Black Mirror is. If you're not familiar,
I have to start that one. I didn't start the new season.
You haven't? Oh, that's not
the new season.
Okay, yeah, I hadn't started the new season either. But if you don't know, Black Mirror is a modern day Twilight Zone. And it is some weird shit on there. So if she's on one, she must just have an episode.
I think it's just one episode.
Yeah.
But I was just seeing the preview of it. But yeah, it's definitely it's a remake with I think with the female perspective, like we've been talking about. I don't like it though. It was like they was trying too hard.
I picked up some of that.
I felt the opposite. I felt like it was just free.
Like that's one of the things that I was saying on the light pole or the electricity thing. That was a bit too far, And there's a couple of areas where they just pushed it a little too hard. It wasn't as natural. I'm not saying it made it bad, but you could feel they were pushing a little hard on it. Which I can't say that I wouldn't do the same thing in a movie making effort. That I wouldn't push the envelope on some areas just a little too hard instead of letting it just go naturally. Yeah.
So the Cat Williams scene is probably one of his funniest lines, maybe his funniest line, was when he was like, he just popped up at the art show. Like, I don't know how he got there.
Some chili or some shit.
He was eating a bowl of chili or something.
Like, how did he even know it was going down?
Right. He was like, man, I'm so proud of y'all. Y'all started off as junior crackheads. Now look at y'all. That was good. And then the person that interviewed her.
Hey, y'all supermodels.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Look at y'all. Look at yourself. But the person that did the interview showed up, and that kind of opened the door for her to possibly still get that position. So that was cool. So yeah.
Now I did think it was, and I think I forgot to write this. Oh, I thought I did write it down. So I said it was empowering for young Black females. Now that's hard to say whenever you see a line like, but you that bitch, been that bitch. But that's the way the younger folks do it. You follow what I'm saying? So that is empowering for them,
Right.
That gives them a level of confidence, So overall, I really gave them some credit for, being empowering for young Black females. They can be a little hood, but I could still put on this suit and go to this interview and kill it over here,
Right. And there's some grown women that's 40, 50 years old to be saying I'm that bitch. So
no doubt.
It's relatable.
No doubt.
The fight at the interview, looked like she's saying was that
outside. Yeah. That's the reason why she wasn't gonna get the position, because she's like, do you know this? I have no idea who they are.
That was funny and kind of cartoonish, banging their heads together, but it was that character though. That was perfect for that character. She was. It was
that Looney Tunes. Yeah, it was that.
Right.
And I thought of HRap whenever early in the movie said, I put up a prayer. I got a direct line to the ancestors. Did y'all catch that?
Yeah.
She did it twice.
Yeah. So, Dawk, you mentioned the character Maniac, which started off at the beginning. Fast forward to the end, that was a good little. That was another little intricate part to the film where she thought he was he was chopping people up and put them in the trunk.
Yeah,
but he was actually a firefighter.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with his name, she even mentioned that your name Maniac though. He's like, well, yeah, that was in my younger days, but I turned it around and did whatever, So yeah, I think that was a good little twist. Again, showing that just because you gangster, you hood, you come from there, don't mean you gotta stay there,
Just because you start off a certain way don't mean you gotta end it.
We watched the Judge Mathis show out of Chicago from Detroit, so I done been to jail. I went to jail for, he tried to act like he was in prison a long time. I think it was 10 months. But needless to say though, he was still, running them streets and, went from the jail to the judge, so one of those kind of deals, I used to be out there, but got it together.
Right. The crackhead identifier. See, this is the crackhead right
Yeah.
here.
You got crackers ways.
Yeah.
Crack is whack. All right. So they end up having a fire in the apartment. The guy the landlord ended up running up like, oh no, my apartment. But then we didn't touch on this. He started doing more advertising to the white.
Oh yeah. Gentrification. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Like, how is this apartment so damn big? Like,
it's completely different. It was more it was well lit. I mean, the other ones look all dark with holes in the ceiling and all that.
Open concept, all of that.
Yeah. Now, do you think
air conditioning?
I think she did good in that role.
Who that?
The name was
the Apatow. Yeah. Let's see. Let's give her a proper credit. Maud Apatow. Yeah, I think she did it good in that role. You could tell she was the average white girl around Black folks that's oblivious to certain things. Like, well, why are y'all doing that? Kind of deal. Yeah. But it was her who popped off the art situation.
Right.
True.
And then she's like, so you said die. Like, what does that mean? Like, who's this Kilolo character?
Yeah.
You just need to, Becky, you need to go in the house.
Toward the end, when everybody was running, she goes, I think I understand now.
I got some pepper spray. Hey.
Yeah. Right. It's back to the Cedric Entertainer stand-up where he said, if Black folks in a place and everybody start running, we gonna start running.
Right.
White folks gonna where we running from? They get in there.
Right. Bang.
Yeah.
Exactly. What you mean?
And Keyshawn was trying to game her up. Keyshawn was, they even said at the end, Keyshawn was living there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keyshawn got him on the white girl at the end.
Yeah.
Probably got us selling Gucci shirts.
Probably. That one shirt.
Yeah. What?
We got.
Yeah.
All right. Let's pray a preview for next week. I know we kind of put some stuff in the chat. We can do some on-air directing, producing for next week. But the G20, y'all cool with doing that? It looks like it was like number one on.
Yeah, I've been seeing it come up.
Iconic
Black actress.
Yep. All right, so next week we will watch this.
Madam President, we have a situation. Ma'am, apprehension is minutes away.
A little much, don't you think, Mom?
Zip it. You and your brother are coming to Cape Town with us.
Why?
You know why.
All you ever care about is work.
I implore all world leaders to join me at the G20 summit.
Come on, Madam President.
Oh, damn. Now we gotta go save the world.
We're 20 most powerful world leaders together. Going dark in 3, 2, 1. To the government's watching, I've taken the G20 by force. When we launch Project Deepfake, we will reset the world's financial markets. You gotta read the words exactly as written. Quick beige fox. Quick beige fox. Quick beige fox. Now we control the narrative.
My husband and kids are missing. We have to find them. If you want to live, you'll follow my lead.
Now you're Captain America. That was quite well done.
They've got at least 5 hostages in the kitchen.
Your survival is what matters most.
I will not leave them.
Drop it!
Guns, 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 guns.
President Danielle Sutton. You get around, don't you?
I'll get around to you, too.
Mom, I can help.
Lights out.
Find her.
Where are my husband and kids?
We're all here together.
I'm gonna get you out of here.
What if we get you into a comfortable pair of heels, hmm?
Do you want an honest answer?
So
what a combination of Anthony Anderson and Viola Davis.
Really?
I would have never, ever pictured that.
Just some with some Die Hard, Air Force One, London Is Falling, all mixed in together.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's the bad guy. That's Homelander from Bad Boys. That Superman-like character. He's the bad guy.
Mm.
I was like, he's in everything. It's like ever since he's become the evil Superman out here, he's in everything playing a bad guy.
Yeah. But great suggestion, Doc. I was definitely looking forward to that. I'll definitely be watching that. All right. Appreciate that. All right. Let's get to some final thoughts and Mike rating for One of Them Days. We're going to go to Wilks first.
Just one of them days.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I said, even just watching the trailer, just kind of the things that I picked up on and the cues that they kind of drew from. But yeah, I enjoyed this. I thought it done well. And the way it ended, I mean, I would not be surprised if there's not a part 2. Would not be surprised. They can lead and do. They could be on vacation and having one of those days or something, whatever. But yeah, no, I give it a 4.5.
What?
Yeah, I give it 4.5.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I give it 4.5.
Okay.
All right. HRap?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I said, I compared it to Friday. It had all the elements of a Friday, but just from a woman's perspective. Like I'm gonna give it. I'm not gonna go 4.5. I'm gonna give it 4-star though, because I just enjoyed everything. It's funny, engaging, low message. You know, it was just a lot. It was everything that you want a movie to be. Engaging, it's funny, personality. Only reason I give it the 1/2 star is I don't like the way what's his name, Lamont Johnson direct. I don't think he allowed what I almost call it Aquila, because that's when I first saw it. I don't think he allowed Kiki. I think he captured Scissor and he captured Kiki. He never put them together. He never let energy permeate. I think he just caught them separately. And I think a more seasoned director or somebody, I think he's more of a TV guy.
Yeah.
No, I think
Fair enough.
a better movie director would have made that pop a little more. But I'm with Wilks. If it wasn't for that, I would have gave it a 4.5 too. I don't have anything bad to say about this.
Yeah, and I'll say, man, I was thoroughly surprised. I went into it like really prejudging it, and making it seem like it was going to be something. And then I sat down and watched it. Did not fall asleep at all. When I seen the 1 hour and 30 minutes, I wasn't like, whoa. I mean, I was like, all right, I'm gonna give it a try. And I felt like the chemistry was good between them two, which is crazy because I've never seen them. It's SZA's first film. So for this to be her first film, Keke Palmer as an experienced actor, it didn't seem like something that was thrown together. And the ending was cool. The ups and downs of the film, some stuff was cliche.
Yeah,
but, I'm gonna give it a 4. I'm gonna give it a 4. I felt like it was. And this is the picture. This is them sandals right here. Every girl had them, man. Those were like the longest feet of sandals. But anyway, all right, Doc.
Well, before I do my mic rating, as you well know, I will go over some mic ratings from some other sites. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a surprising 94%. So they are right there where Wilks is. IMDb gave it a 6.6 out of 10. Metacritic gave it a 71%. Google gave it a 78%. And I started at like a 3.5 mics, but after the review and talking it through, I did raise mine to a 4 as well.
Okay. All right. So 4 out of 5. All right. So next week, like we mentioned, we played the preview, G20 with starring Viola Davis, Anthony Anderson. So I'm definitely looking forward to watching that.
I need to get that MP5 she holding.
Right.
You still clip.
And what was on the end of the bench today?
Today was just about the laws are not your friend, and then you need to understand what history can teach you. What I meant was laws not your friend. Down there in your home state, they just passed the law, and people think it's about one thing, but it's really, I believe it's about something totally different. The law that was passed, that at inception you start paying child support. You know, you get somebody pregnant, you can actually start being forced to pay child support the day that person finds out they were pregnant. And a lot of people are like, yeah, man, if you did be dead, you need to be doing that. But that's really not what it's about.
Right.
In my opinion. I mean, I'm not an attorney. I only play one on a podcast. But I believe it's about controlling women's uterus. If I'm on this embryo that makes the embryo a person, that means if you go get an abortion, you just murdered somebody. So, and you know, and I showed how, I also showed how history, if we actually start, you know, they want to do away with African American studies, African American history, because people think African American studies is Black history. They're two different entities. If you do African American studies, you find out about what is his name? Damn it, Tef. No, Tef is something. Hold on 1 second, I'll take it down. Tax revolt. Tax revolt is a revolt and that was staged in 1760 in Jamaica, which basically is the trigger point for the Revolutionary War. because the brothers got together in Jamaica. It was like, look, we outnumber them 40-1. We gonna end this. And they had a big war, and it cost England a lot of money. England started spending money to defeat the Jamaican brothers down there, the Africans that were left. And then that's when they started taxing the 13 colonies to pay for that war. Yeah. And that's why they got mad, and they said, we ain't doing this, and that's what triggered the war. And my point was, anytime we rise up for the world, so we need to start thinking forward and start doing things to make it better for us, and then we'll make it better for us. It'll just germinate and make it better for the world. But
yeah. All right. Make sure to subscribe to The End of the Bench. Daily shows, weekly shows, all the channels scrolling down at the bottom. Make sure to subscribe to those. Queen 3 and King tomorrow.
Yeah, we are actually going to replay a very powerful show from last week called Daddy Issues. If you did not catch that show, I tried to put that show in every empty slot we had on BS3 Network because I think it was that powerful. And it's going to be put on the show again tomorrow in that same time slot. So 7 p.m. tomorrow. When you hear the term daddy issues, you think about it from a female perspective. This was taken from a male perspective and the impact it has on males and the relationship they have with their father. So again, 7 p.m. tomorrow, Queen 3 and King replay of Daddy Issues. If you didn't catch it, please catch it. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend.
Yeah, great show. Also great input, great comments as well, which also helped the conversation. All right. Side note, I think you posted this to the group chat, Dawk, but Magazine Dreams, I've been hearing like crazy good reviews about that. So
why does it
is
sound
it out already?
It's like you can rent it. I think it's $20 though.
Yeah.
Why does that sound familiar?
It's what's his name? The guy that got caught up in the Jonathan Majors. So this was actually like an older film, but they didn't release it because of what happened with his legal situation and all that. But they were saying his acting in this was probably some of his best, if not his best.
He's
so
wanted to become one of the top bodybuilders.
Yeah. But all right, if you want to go ahead and close this out, HRap.
Close. Man, you know what? Before we go, I want to say rest in peace. Y'all know the dude who wrote the Hokey Pokey died.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah, they had issues putting him in his coffin. They put his right foot in.
I was going to say, did they turn him around?
Yeah.
This guy.
Moment of silence for the Hokey Pokey guy.
No, that's
All and
Madam President, we have a situation. Ma'am, apprehension is minutes away.
A little much, don't you think, Mom?
Zip it. You and your brother are coming to Cape Town with us.
Why?
You know why.
All you ever care about is work.
I implore all world leaders to join me at the G20 summit.
Come on, Madam President.
Oh, damn. Now we gotta go save the world.
We're 20 most powerful world leaders together. Going dark in 3, 2, 1. To the government's watching, I've taken the G20 by force. When we launch Project Deepfake, we will reset the world's financial markets. You gotta read the words exactly as written. Quick beige fox. Quick beige fox. Quick beige fox. Now we control the narrative.
My husband and kids are missing. We have to find them. If you want to live, you'll follow my lead.
Now you're Captain America. That was quite well done.
They've got at least 5 hostages in the kitchen.
Your survival is what matters most.
I will not leave them.
Drop it! Guns, 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 guns.
President Danielle Sutton. You get around, don't you?
I'll get around to you too.
Mom, I can help.
Lights out.
find her.
Where are my husband and kids?
We're all here together.
I'm gonna get you out of here.
What if we get you into a comfortable pair of heels, hmm? Do you want an honest answer?